Everybody, the Northville City Council meeting is now in session. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2022. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together, and we ask you to guide us through our meeting this evening. We thank you for the gifts of mutual respect and insights into the common concerns that we all share. We thank you for helping us to accomplish our work this day. In your name, amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Sweeney. Here. Booth. Hayden.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Haley. Here. DeVries.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Service Director.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
Auditor. Here. Clerk of Council. Here.
All right, tonight we have before us the City Council meeting minutes dated January 18th, 2022. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, those minutes are approved as submitted. Please note we also have before us this evening the Civil Service meeting minutes dated January 24th, 2022. And that brings us to our lobby session at this time. We will open the lobby session to allow the public an opportunity to address council and the city administration. If anybody wishes to speak, we ask that you please approach the podium and speak from the podium only. If you could begin by stating your name and address for the record, and then you'll be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak regarding any business, any concerns related to the business of City Council or the general affairs of the city. At this time, is there anybody who wishes to speak this evening? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a little bit of a cold, so I'm leaving my mask on, just so you know. There are several pieces of agenda items that I'll be asking for the emergency clause on, and in the interest of time, I will just wait until those items come up, so I don't bore you twice. I have a Fair Housing Board appointment. I'd like to move that we appoint Linda Mormon to the Fair Housing Board to fill the vacancy left by Bruce Kanya, who passed away at the end of December. Bruce had served on the board since 2012 and did an outstanding job for the city. I'd like to thank Bruce for his dedication and service, and my sincere condolences to his family. Linda Mormon is a resident of 30 years and recently retired from Safe Light Auto Glass, where she was a district sales manager. She enjoys spending time at our senior center, where she serves as one of our dedicated volunteers.
I'll say that.
Okay, it's moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to appoint Linda Mormon to the, I'm sorry, which board?
Fair Housing Board?
Fair Housing Board. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Thank you, and congratulations to Linda. Coffee and conversation. I'm going to have a special guest join me at the next one, which is on Tuesday, February 15th from 8:30 to 9:30 here in Council Chambers. The special guest is this North Ridgeville City School Superintendent Roxanne Ramsey Casario. So you'll be able to hear about what's going on at the schools and at the city at the same time in one place. City Hall offices will be closed on February 21st in observance of President's Day. That means our next regular council meeting will be pushed back to Tuesday, February 22nd. And while we're talking about city and schools, the state of North Ridgeville is going to be a joint event on February 25th. at 11:30 at the North Ridgeville Academic Center. We are combining the State of the City and State of the Schools into one event, and we'll make it interesting and interactive for the audience. Please be there for that. It is a chamber event, so if you're interested in attending, you need to go to the chamber's website at nrchamber.com and get your tickets. The cost for lunch and the program is $25 per person. The registration deadline for that event is Friday, February 18th at 3 p.m. And at this point, make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the purchase and sale of land.
It was moved by the mayor, seconded by Swank to go into executive session to discuss the purchase and sale of land. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Away. Yes. DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
Okay.
This time we'll go into executive session. meeting now in session. Thank you for your patience. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Safety Service Director.
Well, as we all got phone calls, we had a snow event last week, of which everybody was impacted severely. Not only if you're back, but trucks and everything else out there. I mean, we fielded today over 63 phone calls wanting us to clear driveways, of which there are 14,000 water meters. It's very difficult to go and clear 14,000 driveways if you equate that to how many is going on. So bear with us. It's warmer weather, and we do not have the equipment nor the capabilities of going back and cleaning out everybody's driveway. What happens a lot of times, and you can see it, is that your snowplower comes in. What's he do? He clears your driveway, drags it all out of the street, goes across, and then builds a mound like this across the way, which creates a problem for everybody. But I commend the guys that were out there for the hours that they were, the shifts that they did a great job in the city of North Ridgeville. If you went through some of the other cities, John Montgomery is very, very responsive to the residents. I know in one case there was a surgery that was going to take place, and the guys went out and made sure that they could get out of their house because it was actually an emergency that they had to go for the surgery. So if we're aware of a medical condition or something like that, we're certainly going to respond. But bear with us, and those of us that are out there to remember that you have to shovel your sidewalks. And there were complaints on that. We are maintaining the Center Ridge Road, the path, the 10-foot path, making sure that's taken care of. But if you go across the street, that's the responsibility of those businesses over there to clear that 5-foot sidewalk over there. We just don't have the equipment to do it. We do the best we can, and we have to stack the snow someplace. If you'd like to come over to my house, I live at Woodhaven Circle, and you can see probably a 15-foot stack of snow right in front of my house, as other cul-de-sacs have got. There was talk years ago buying a dragon wagon. And that's where you actually have a blowtorch. You take this thing around, you melt the snow. That didn't last very long because it's not very practical. So that completes my report with a funny. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you, Council President. Just a few things tonight. This week we'll be opening up our Lorraine Road water main extension bids for the work to happen on Lorraine Road from Cook Road to Bliss Parkway. Hopefully we get good numbers there. We are bidding early, so that helps. Update on our Mill, Stony Ridge, and Avalon Drive peanut roundabout. Right-of-way acquisition has begun. O.R. Coleman, the city's acquisition specialist, has reached out to the property owners and is establishing communications with them. The property appraisals have begun as well. Once the appraisals are complete, O.R. Coleman will begin negotiations with the property owners to acquire the necessary right-of-way for the project. And it's the main right-of-way that we're acquiring is most like the southeast corner. There's a good snip, but the rest of them are small little chunks. So I'm hoping that goes well and we get that all acquired in the next 60 days. We did start construction this morning on Center Ridge Road Sanitary Sewer Extension. The first manhole was set this afternoon. And for the next 2 weeks, getting through Barton intersection is going to be a challenge for that crew with all the utilities existing in that intersection and the lights hanging over their head. I have a feeling that there may be some changes that are going to happen there. There are a variety, again, of utilities in that way that's going to make the first couple hundred feet of installing that sewer an issue. But I think the crew that we have on hand, they'll make it work. They'll get through it. And once that crew begins to move east along Center Ridge Road, the intersection of Barton will reopen. It is closed on both the north and south sides right now. There is a detour posted, and that detour will stay up until that road opens back up again. And also before you tonight on council is T21. I have asked the mayor to ask council for the emergency on this project. We'd like to get it bid right away. because we want to get these trees cleared in a timely manner. Also, again, the earlier we bid in the first quarter of the year, we usually get better bid pricing. So if we can, I'd ask council to consider moving that along this evening and getting that project underway. We've been waiting for it for a long time. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Auditor?
President. Earlier, late last week, I distributed the November 2021 and the December 2021 financial reports. I just wanted to mention that the December is preliminary pending the outcome of the 2021 audit, which is underway. Charles E. Harris will begin the audit in 2 weeks. And once that's finalized, we'll distribute a final report to be posted. Before council tonight, there are 3 pieces of financial legislation. An ordinance amending 2022 appropriations, a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds, a resolution authorizing execution of the then and now certificates. I have also asked the mayor to ask council to pass this legislation tonight with the emergency clause so that we can be provided the necessary financial resources to meet our obligations. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Under other reports, we have the January 2022 Fire Department report, the January 2022 Building Department report, the December 2021 Water Distribution report, and the 2021 Water Distribution Loss report. So we also have before us the November 2021 financial report and the December 2021 preliminary financial report. With no council committee reports before us this evening, clerk, is there any correspondence?
Yes, we have a memorandum from the auditor, April Wilkerson. In accordance with the requirement of the City of North Ridgeville Ordinance Number 2665-92, Codified Ordinance 1046.05D, after the review of water charges from the city's major water suppliers, in concurrence with the city's engineer's correspondence dated January 13th, 2022, the water rate increase is applicable for the year 2022 of 1.642%. Also, correspondence email from Jim Molesky regarding T-135-2021 and T-136-2021 that was sent back to committee on December 6, 2021. The subject of the legislation were discussed in multiple meetings that included the chief, the law director, and other council members. The legislation gives the responding officer the ability to have specific language to determine if someone is in violation. If this is meant to die, Mr. Molesky would like an explanation as to why.
President,
Yes, Ms. Mc.
just a note to Mr. Molesky that as the chair of the safety committee, this is not legislation that is meant to die. We're currently in ongoing discussions, and there's going to be more safety meetings for it.
Okay, thank you.
And finally, memorandum from the city engineer Daniel Rodriguez, the updated miscellaneous engineering plan review and inspection fees for 2022.
Okay, that will bring us to the recess portion of our meeting.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Murphy.
move to dispense with recess.
It was moved by Winkle, seconded by Booth to dispense with recess. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. All right, we will skip past recess and move on to first readings. Clerk, please read T14.
T-14-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Vasu Communication, Inc. for the purchase of portable radio equipment and appurtenances for the police department, not to exceed $150,503.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings for T14.
was moved by the mayor and seconded by Bruce to dispense with the second and third readings for T14. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no.
President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to adopt. President, move to add the emergency clause. As you know, we've been talking about purchasing radio equipment for both police and fire for quite some time now. We're at the point where we have the ability to purchase radio equipment for the police department. The fire department's getting radios through a federal grant that we've already received in cooperation with the city of Avon Lake. And this is our opportunity to get radios for the police department, and I'd like to get that moving forward today, because as we all know, the communication systems that we are currently using are not the greatest.
It was moved by the mayor, seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T14 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to adopt T14 with that emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood,
yes,
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5901-2022.
T15.
T15-2022, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC 2022 Energized Community Grant.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings for T15.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T15. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause. This is a grant that we get on an annual basis. At this point, NOPEC is awarding us $82,334. Process, though, is that we have to accept the grant and apply for the money. And so the money's sitting there waiting for us to grab it. We might as well do that faster than waiting.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T15 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to adopt T15 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yeah.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood,
yes,
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5902-2022.
T16.
T16-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into contracts according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidders for the Sugar Ridge Road sanitation sewer extension, including associated work and inspection services in an amount not to exceed $3,150,000.
T17.
T17-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Ridgeville to lease purchase a new 2022 John Deere 15055E utility tractor, including any auxiliary equipment from the state bid list or state co-op, or to advertise for bids and enter into a 5-year lease purchase agreement with the lowest and best bidder according to law and in a manner prescribed by law, not to exceed $61,503.99.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second, third readings for T17.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor, seconded by DeVries to dispense with the second and third readings for T17. All in favor say yes.
yes,
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause.
Second.
This piece of legislation, this piece of equipment was discussed during budget time. Mr. Fugarus, who is our Park and Rec Department Supervisor, he suggested that he'd like to have this arrive late spring, early summer for use this summer by our crews. In order to make that happen, he's asking for the emergency clause on that. See.
Okay, it's moved by the mayor and seconded by DeVries to add the emergency clause at T17 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by DeVries to adopt T17 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood. Yes. DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5903-2022.
T18.
T18-2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5853-2021, which was for adding restroom facilities to the Shady Drive batting cage area at the Shady Drive complex by increasing the amount from $191,500 to $246,500.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings for T18.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third readings for T18. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause.
Second.
This is a project that we've discussed over the past year and a half, I think, at least. When we went out to bid, those bids came in higher than the estimates at the time. We're just now going back. Those material and labor costs have increased the estimate, and we're looking to get that bid out and get that project finally constructed. We're looking to do that with the emergency clause this evening.
Mr. President,
Yes.
yeah, just to add to the mayor's comments, if you recall, this project was first approved to be done in 2020, and because of the pandemic, we pushed it back. And it is the largest indoor facility that the Park and Rec Department has. It originally is batting cages. Now it also has spin bikes and other types of apparatus, so it's used quite a bit. And so the addition of the restroom facilities will be much needed. And also would like to report that at our last Park and Recreation Commission meeting, the commission voted unanimously to recommend council's approval of this project.
Thank you, Mr. Booth. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T18 for the reasons stated. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Booth to adopt T18 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
question I have, as far as the budget is concerned, that's a hefty increase. Is there money in the budget for that increase, or are we gonna have to transfer it from someplace else?
T25, that's on the agenda tonight. The capital project fund, we're asking for the additional $55,000.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood. Yes. DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously. It becomes 5904-2022.
T19.
T19, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the sale of real property located on Center Ridge Road.
T20.
T2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law for professional services for the Mills Road, Jaycox Road Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $180,000.
T21,
T21-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for tree removal and site preparation for the Mills Creek Conservation and Flood Control Project in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
Mr. President,
yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to dispense with the second and third reading.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T21. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, motion to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the engineer earlier, as far as getting out to bid in a timely manner and to get the best pricing on that bid.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T21 for the reasons stated by Mr. DeVries and the engineer. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. It was then moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to adopt T21 with that emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms.
I
Smith.
have a question for the auditor. Does this come out of the storm sewer fund?
No, the ODNR grant has its own fund.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Aben,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig. Yes. DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5905-2022.
T22,
T22-2022, an ordinance proactively approving the contract that was entered into between the city of North Ridgeville and Invoice Cloud, Inc. for the payment of utility bills.
T23,
T23-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio, to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for a 12-month period according to law and in a manner prescribed by law for the purchase of chemicals to be used by French Creek wastewater treatment plant.
T24,
T24-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the 2022 crack seal project and other appurtenances not to exceed $100,000.
T25,
T25-2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5889-2021 of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio, providing appropriations for this period commencing January 1st, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2022. I'm
Mr.
sorry,
President,
January 21st, 2022 and ending December 31st, 2022.
Mr. President,
yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
Sorry, is that Mr. Bruce? Okay. It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third readings for T25. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, motion to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the auditor earlier. We understand that we're going to transfer funds over to Parks and Rec to facilitate the building of the restrooms at the Shady, so that we can get this done for the kids. And we want to get out in front of this before the prices continue to rise.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T25 for the reasons stated. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to adopt T25 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5906/2022.
T26.
T26/2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to apply to the Lorraine County Public Grant Health for funding through the Healthy Places Grants.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
make a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by Booth, seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for T26. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Also make a motion to add the emergency as there's a deadline for, to apply for these grants, and we'll make sure that we meet them.
It was moved by Booth, seconded by Swank to add the emergency clause to T26 for the reasons stated by Mr. Booth. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by Booth, seconded by Swank to adopt T26 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The resolution passes unanimously and becomes 1554/2022.
T27.
T27/2022, a resolution authorizing fund transfers.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T27. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, motion to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the auditor earlier.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T27 for the reasons stated earlier by the auditor. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Winkle to adopt T27 with that emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The resolution carries unanimously and becomes 1555/2022.
T28.
T28/2022, a resolution authorizing the execution of then and now certificates by the fiscal officer and the payment of amounts due for various purchase orders.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It's moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T28. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, motion to add the emergency clause. We want to make sure we get these purchase orders paid for as alluded to by the auditor earlier, so we maintain our credit rating.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T28 for the reasons stated by Mr. DeVries. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Winkle to adopt T28 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The resolution carries unanimously and becomes 1556/2022.
T29.
T29/2022, an ordinance accepting certain street improvement locations in Cross Creek subdivision and dedicating them for public purpose.
T30,
T30, 2022, an ordinance accepting certain street improvement located in Hampton Place subdivision, phase 3 and 4, and dedicating them for public purpose.
all right, that brings us to the end of the first readings. Moving on to second readings, T4.
T4, 2022, PID number 110809, project name DO3GR FY20 2023 NHS, an ordinance cooperating with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation to perform guardrail upgrade east of the Ohio Turnpike on US 20, north of the Ohio Turnpike on State Route 83 and over State Route 10 on State Route 83.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swing to dispense with the third reading for T4. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause to T4.
Second.
Mr. President, we have a deadline that ODOT. So we need to pass this with the emergency. It is a project that is at no cost to the city, and ODOT just comes and performs those upgrades.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swing to add the emergency clause to T4 to meet the ODOT deadlines as stated by the mayor. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Swing to adopt T4 with that emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swing,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood. Yes. DeVries,
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5907, 2022.
T5.
T5, 2022, an ordinance establishing the police station debt service bond retirement fund.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
question for the mayor, is this time sensitive involved? Should we create this now so that we don't have to wait later on?
We can do it at the next meeting.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Same with the next one as well.
Okay.
T6.
T6, an ordinance establishing the police station construction fund.
T7.
T7, 2022, an ordinance establishing the senior center construction.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the third reading for T7.
Second.
It's moved by the mayor, seconded by Haywood to dispense with the third reading for T7. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause to T7.
Second.
The reason being, Mr. President, we received a donation that was earmarked for this purpose. We'd like to just get it out of the general fund and move it over to this purpose. There's no reason to wait.
It was moved by the mayor, seconded by Haywood to add the emergency clause to T7 in order to move the donation out of the general fund. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Then moved by the mayor and seconded by Haywood to adopt T7 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Haven,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywood. Yes. DeVries,
Yes,
Jacob.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes 5908, 2022.
Okay, we have no third readings this evening. The next regular council meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. here in City Council chambers. This time, are there any final comments or questions? Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, folks.